Hey, what is up everyone? It is Andrew with TCG Expedition, and today I am going to be talking a little bit about the last duel decks that Magic the Gathering will have, for the time being that is. They may come back to it, who knows. So this was just posted today, March 21st. It's the deck list of both the Elves and the Inventors, and then on top of that, it's going to have the images for the new art, new card frames, updated text, and all that stuff. So first off here, we're just going to take a peek at the Elves since it is right here at the top. And I'm just going to let you guys look at the deck list. I'm not going to hover over any of the cards because the cards that it shows here currently are going to be the old versions, the most recently printed versions, I should say. And the new ones are going to be down lower on the page. They're not quite yet on Gatherer, so they won't pull up right here. So if you want to look at it, that's cool, and we're just going to kind of talk a little bit about this deck. I think the Elves deck is awesome. I personally have never really played a huge Elf deck. The only Elf deck I really have is going to be the Freyalise Commander Precon. With this, I like it a lot because it has, in my opinion, a lot of good reprints, a lot of good, memorable Elf cards. So when it comes down to it, I think this deck is good. I've seen a lot of people question the reprints and why they didn't include certain ones like maybe Finhorn Elves or something, since it is quite an old card. I don't see anything wrong with what they've chosen. I think this deck looks good. I think it has a lot of potential to play well against the Inventor deck, and I think it's good in terms of being a dual deck playing against maybe other dual decks. I really like it, and just by seeing the Elves list, honestly, I wanted to pick this up. I didn't really know what to expect on the Inventors side, but after seeing just the Elves, I was like, alright, I'm in. And MSRP on this, the last one, Merfolk versus Goblin, went back to $19.99 MSRP, as opposed to their $24.99 on the previous one. So I think this one will come out again at $19.99 as their last dual deck, and at that price point, I mean, this is just a solid pickup if you need some cards for Commander, if you need some cards for maybe Modern Elves. I don't know what you're playing, but if anything, just playing this against another dual deck, Inventors or maybe a Merfolk or whatever it might be, I think this deck looks fine. Now, of course, you can make some tweaks, fix your mana base, whatever you want to do with it. That's your opinion. I think just right out of the box, it's a solid deck here. One of my favorite cards actually is going to be that Sylvan Advocate. From Oath of the Gatewatch, it is just a fun card to play with. I mean, other things here, you got the Elvish Mystics, you have the Elvish Branchmenders. I mean, the deck seems awesome. It even comes with Treetop Village. Like, you can't be mad, right? Like, obviously there are reprints that people have wanted, and that's fine. Maybe those reprints will come in a later master set or something else down the line that they replace the dual tags with. No one knows. So for now, we're just going to skip on down to the Inventors list here, and this list actually really surprised me. I did not expect anything like this. I haven't been playing Magic since the beginning of time, so I didn't know what to expect with this. Goblin Welder, an awesome card. It's that picture there's from Commander. It's also been printed in earlier sets. It has Pia and Kira and Alar. It has a Meteor Battlesphere. It has Scuttling Doom Engine. I mean, this deck is awesome, right? It has Treasure Mage, Trophy Mage, Whirler Rogue. It has all of these things that come in and they either make artifacts or they deal with artifacts, and they're very artifact based. And so it's going to be an Is It deck. It's going to be blue and red. Awesome deck. I really love it. My first deck I ever picked up was in those colors, and so really liking artifacts, this deck looks awesome to me. So after seeing the Elf deck, I'm like, alright, I'm picking this up. Then I see this list and I'm like, there's no way I'm not getting one of these dual decks. This just looks awesome. And I mean, the land base even looks great, right? So we're going to take a look now at some of these cards below and see how the new artwork frames, the card frames, the artwork, and then also some of the rules text and stuff has been changed. Now, they've posted an article online with this, and I'll have that link in the description if you want to look through all the changes that are coming with Dominaria and with all these new things releasing. So let's just get on into it. Blue is what's up first here. Artificer's Epiphany, really good card if you're playing artifacts. Ethereum Sculptor, obviously, right? It reduces your spell cast. Fairy Mechanist is really good. Riddlesmith, Treasure Mage, Trinket Mage, Trophy Mage, Whirler Rogue. Like I mentioned, all of the good tutors for artifact stuff. Whirler Rogue, a really fun card. So first, right off, what we can notice here with these cards is that there is a line between the reminder text or the flavor text, however you want to put it. A very thin line. At first, when I saw that, I was like, is that a mess up on their imaging? No, it's actually something that they've added in, so there's a clear distinction between what is actually happening with the card and then what else is just going on with, like, you know, talking about the Nurok here or whatever. So another thing here we can also see is going to be the set symbol. It's kind of like a little square in the background and then a bow and arrow. It's kind of weird looking, but it makes sense. Elves are archers, and then I guess the little symbol in the background is probably a cog for the Inventor deck. So going on to the red here, we have Goblin Welder, Barrage Ogre, Galvanic Blast, very popular card. And right here we can see on Pia and Kira and Nalar that they are testing out this new legendary frame here. So at the top, it's just like a little crown that they put on top. In my opinion, it looks like an axe type thing with these curved edges, but I really like it, and it makes it so that this card stands out, but not too much. You know it's a little different, and then you see that it's a legendary creature, and it's like, okay, so this is a one-of. I can't have two of these out at the same time. I have to sack one, or I can use this as my commander. It's very, okay, you know, this is an important card. It's not just a common like this gear crafter. So pretty cool in the red. A little bit of stuff here. One other thing I want to point out with the red is this Shrapnel Blast. So it's a little bit different from probably other printings that people have seen of Shrapnel Blast. So it starts out normal, right? As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact. So right off the bat there, you can see it says this spell, and it does not say as an additional cost to cast Shrapnel Blast. They decided to go more generic and just say this spell and not take up more text than they need to with that. The next change here is going to be Shrapnel Blast deals 5 damage to any target. Instead of saying, let's say, to any player or creature, however, whatever the text originally said on there, it just says any target. So now, with their rules change with the Planeswalker redirection rule, with this, they went back to that alpha lightning bolt. You know, it's any target. So this can now target creature, player, or planeswalker. It doesn't have to be redirected or anything like that. So that is a rules change. Like I said before, there is going to be a link in the description if you want to go read all that. There's a good chunk on there, and it's a lot of changes coming for players who have played a long time. A lot of erratas coming. So getting into the green, this is the coolest section. So right off the bat, you can see there's some legendary creatures here. So Azuri, Renegade Leader, getting new artwork, looks amazing. The split here, like I mentioned before, very cool. I think they're doing really good with what they're changing, right? So they've spiced it up a little bit, separating it. They've added this on the top. Hopefully, it's not too confusing, any of these changes for new players. But for players who keep up with this stuff, I think it's going to be good. Another thing that is very, very big, as we can see here on this Elvish Mystic, they've changed it so that it doesn't say add green or forest, whatever you want to call it, to your mana pool. It just says add that. So instead of worrying about the mana pool and stuff, they've streamlined it and made it very simple. You tap it, you add green, boom, you got it. You know, it's not very hard to understand. Same here with this Elvish aberration. You just add 3 green. I mean, it's very simple. I like that they're making these changes. Some people, like I've mentioned before, don't like change. They just want it to be the same. And I can understand that change is weird. Sometimes it's for the better, sometimes it doesn't work out and they have to revert the change. But as far as what I've noticed so far with what they're doing, with Dominaria's released, with these dual decks, with all the new stuff coming out, I can definitely tell that they're testing the waters, and I think people are going to like it after it starts rolling out here. It'll be a little bit easier to understand what's going on. I'm just slowly scrolling through here so you can see kind of what else is going to be in that elf deck. All the green ones, of course, being in the elf deck, the red and blue being in the inventor deck that we already passed. So obviously includes, you got Naturalize, Nature's Way, stuff like that. Regal Force, great card. As I mentioned before, Sylvan Advocate, the Battalion, this one's very cool too. Kind of like Shrapnel Blast, it says cast this spell only if you've cast another green spell this turn. So instead of mentioning that its card's name, it just says this spell. So it's very straightforward still, but less words, so cleaner boxes, and not, like I said, not a huge paragraph like a Yu-Gi-Oh card would have. They've decided to clean up a lot of it, and I think they all look great. Getting into the multicolored here, we just have the Maverick Thopterus and the Reclusive Artificer. Artifacts in this, so value-wise, I mentioned before, I'm guessing it's going to be that $19.99 MSRP. A lot of people are concerned about the reprints and the value of this, and in my opinion, I mean, obviously I'm going to be picking it up, but in my opinion, I don't think there's a question on value. Currently, I think if you total everything up, it's roughly in that like $40, $50, $60 range. After this comes out, of course, people are going to be opening it, people are going to be putting it online. Selling the singles, I obviously can understand that the prices will come down. But if you're picking it up for $20 and this thing started at like roughly, let's say $40, $50 and comes down to $25, you're still getting your value out of it, and you're supporting your LGS whenever you buy this. On top of that, I stop here to mention it because this Darksteel plate right here, if you buy this card right now, it is like a $10, $11 card, which if the price point is $19.99, this card by itself, getting it, is half of what you paid, which means every other card in here is worth, like, you just paid $10 for every other card in here, and so you're getting a ton of value. In my opinion, I don't think there's a problem with the value. I think they did great on the reprints. I mean, Darksteel Plate's awesome. It's indestructible, and you equip it to something, and that becomes indestructible. How awesome is that, right? And then, of course, you have like Ichor Wellspring, which sees play in a lot of formats. Inventor's Goggle, a great card, especially in this deck. Mirror Battlesphere, super fun. So I'm a little confused as to why people think that there's no value. Obviously, some of these cards that I've listed are worth a couple cents, maybe 50 cents a dollar. But that's the thing. It's a dual deck that you can pick up and play immediately. They can't put, you know, a $100 card in here and expect to sell it for 20 bucks. That'll just shake up the market too much. So I think overall they did a great job. And then on top of that, I mean, look at this, Solemn Simulacrum. This sees play in almost every commander deck. This is a super popular card, and it's getting a reprint in this, like, awesome, you know. And then this Thopter Assembly artwork, how can you not like that, right? It looks awesome. So I don't know why people complain about this stuff. I think it looks great. I think the artwork, all the changes they're making looks great. And I think if this comes out at $20, I'm picking it up in a heartbeat, as I keep saying. Like, I like the dual decks. I picked up almost every one that's come out, and I just like this stuff. On top of that, I mean, you're getting Darksteel Citadel. They're reprinting 2 of the artifact lands that are banned in Modern. Like, let's just take that in for a second. You're getting Great Furnace and Seed of Synod, and you're getting a Scry land here. You're getting a Ping land. I mean, you're getting your value. I don't understand why people don't quite like it. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top here. I like these deck lists. I like them a lot. I will be picking this up. I honestly may pick up 2. I should have probably picked up 2 of the Merfolk versus Goblins because I really like those, and those are very popular tribes in Modern. Elves, as I've said, it's great in Legacy, it's great in Modern, it's great in Commander. Inventors, I mean, those are popular colors, popular mechanics, popular cards. If anything, when you pick this up for 20 bucks, you could piece it apart and put some of these cards into your Commander deck. You can use some of them in your Pauper deck. You could go to Modern. Like, you can use this for whatever, or just use it to play with someone who's doing to Magic and just have fun with it. So I think there's a lot of options with this. So if you are interested, please let me know in the comments and what you thought of this last dual deck that Magic is coming out with. And what do you think they're going to do in the future? Are they going to do something else with this space that they've now cleared up? Or are they just going to end it all and kind of just never talk about dual decks again? I am interested to see kind of what people are thinking. I'm also interested to see, of course, what Magic does. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.